when we weren't fighting on the island, we'd go back to Maui each time. And we had the good fortune to be living right next to a pineapple field. And we had a big knife. Every Marine had a big K-bar knife in a sheath. And we had whacked off the end of that pineapple, and I ate so much pineapple when I came home. My new wife, after I got home, said, "Let's get a pineapple." I said, "Let's don't." My tongue sore.
So did you get married right after you got home?
Couldn't wait.
Were you sweethearts before?
No,
You met?
long time.
Yeah.
She joined Stowe School in 5th grade, and I knew her before that. Probably 3rd grade.
See, and you guys are in 6th grade. He knew his wife when he was even younger than you.
Now that lady over there, we knew each other in 6th grade.
That one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right here in Stowe Schools.
Yeah, they do.
Not this
Were you
one.
married before this service?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Here's
Oh,
another-
that's right. You had you were going to have the baby. Well, you didn't have the baby, but
Yeah, I didn't have the baby. No,
but you came home to your baby.
But I did something that, this is too much detail for you, my problem, I guess. I went to Kansas State University, and I went there to become an engineer. That's where I started, and then I was going to go to Ohio State University. You know about these two universities, right? Kent and Ohio State. Ohio State was a land-grant college. And maybe that's in social studies, I don't know. But as a land-grant college, you had to take ROTC at Ohio State during the years that I would have gone there. So I decided I'll get it out of the way at Kent State, and then I won't have to bother with it when I go down there. Something in me, though, after I went through those first 2 years of my obligation to get that, I thought, something about this I like. Don't ask me exactly what that was, what it was marching or it was doing something. I stayed in, particularly since I found out they would pay you. And that money would help me with my cost of books and some other things that I had to save. So I went 2 more years and I graduated, and then I got a commission. And then I belonged to the United States Army for 6 years, basically. And so in a sense you could say I volunteered, but in another way it was like I just kind of bumped along making these decisions and choices. And I didn't read the paper very much or notice what they were doing over in South Vietnam. But in 1959, when I graduated from high school, Dwight Eisenhower, who was a very, very important general in World War II, and then became president of the United States for 2 terms, 8 years. He started to send advisors over to Vietnam as early as 1959, but I didn't pay much attention to that or anything else that followed.
Yeah, my uncle was there, yeah.
What's that?
My uncle was there when during the Ike administration there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went as advisor, yeah.
Yep. So, read the newspaper every once in a while. It's important to know what's going on. Well, that's silly of me. Go online.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like that paper.
I do too. It's my age. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do any of you guys have weird stories?
Weird stories? You must have some weird stories.
I can tell you one. When we were on Saipan, it was a kind of big item, but not a small one like the first one. I told you they had these animals, and at night we had to put machine guns out around to keep us from having Japanese soldiers infiltrate our lines and do us harm. So they had these guards out, but they couldn't sleep. They had to guard us all night long. Well, this one night, all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, the machine guns started to go. So we didn't know what to do. But, the firing stopped almost as quick as it started. We all went back to sleep, and in the morning, these fellows had killed an ox. They thought it was someone else coming through, but it wasn't. It was just a big ox. They had shot
because there were no night vision goggles.
No, nothing, we had no radar, nothing like that. Oh, they might have had some radar, but primitive.
Primitive.
Yeah.
I don't have any weird stories. Much. I mean, there are some sad stories, but well, I will tell this one sad story because I didn't even know the person, but when I arrived in the unit as a replacement, a young fella had been notified previous to my arrival that he had become a father. And of course, I knew that off in the distance, sometime in February, I arrived in September, I would become a father also. But this young man was notified, probably experiencing excitement of becoming a father, and there was a mortar attack. He sat up in his bunk and was killed by a mortar. That meant, of course, that his son never lived. Those kinds of things, there are many worse stories you can tell about war. War is not like it is in the movie. War is not glorious in many ways. In fact, a lot of times it's boring when you just have to sit around and wait for something to happen, or wait for the landing ships to go in.
Marines didn't wait much.
They don't. Marines didn't
No, we